and welcome to another show. You know, consumers are ready for holiday shopping in store, but are the retailers? With consumer shopping trends changing in 2020, retailers are using technology to keep up with the shifting demand and new expectations. Aki Duvver is Vice President, IBM Public Cloud. Welcome, Aki.
Hey, thanks for having me.
How have consumer trends changed this year due to the pandemic? Aki, let me ask you that firstly.
Yeah, I think there's a greater focus than ever before on convenience, allowing shoppers to get what they need quickly and safely. And some will take a combined approach to holiday shopping, whether it's buying gifts online, shipping them to their homes, or buying them online and picking them up in-store or curbside. In many cases, consumers are increasingly shifting to a digital-first buying experience. Either way, as consumers return to stores or continue to embrace online purchasing or do a mixture of both, they want a great and safe experience.
Well, in a recent survey from IBM, nearly 30% of U.S. consumers noted that despite the pandemic, they're planning to visit a store before year end and expect to see new precautions in place, such as enforced social distancing. And while 28% of consumers have shopped online for curbside pickup during the pandemic, another 19% plan to continue shopping this way even after the pandemic is over. Now, this signifies a long-term trend, doesn't it?
It does. I think retailers are really adjusting their strategies across the board, both in terms of, online, purchases or in-store to meet consumers wherever they are. They're taking advantage of technology to improve the end-to-end customer experience. While a lot is unpredictable about this upcoming holiday shopping season, it's becoming increasingly clear that the impact of COVID-19 will alter retailer strategies in the long term as consumers continue to transform how they shop.
Well, Aki, I suppose with the holidays around the corner and consumers antsy, to begin holiday shopping, providing a frictionless, safe, and fulfilling shopping experience for customers, it's got to be essential for retailers.
It's absolutely critical. I think the use of technology, whether it's, hybrid cloud or, which effectively allows, a client to have a much better and richer interaction in terms of the buying experience. In general, a lot of data stored in the cloud, which includes everything from family photos to music or purchasing history. Hybrid cloud takes that a step further, enabling retailers to manage data stored in various locations, whether it's a public cloud, private, or in-store, and do this all in a secure manner. So hybrid cloud allows retailers to adapt to change that may occur in real time, such as products becoming out of stock or a competitor lowering a price, right? All of this gives flexibility to the consumer and a better experience at large. And with Black Friday approaching later this week, consumers are gearing up to purchase the perfect gifts for loved ones while sales are still active, right? I know I have a few things on my list as well that I'm watching.
Yeah, you're right. In case you just joined me, folks, we're listening to Aki Duvver, Vice President of IBM Public Cloud, here on The Mark Bishop Show. In that same study from IBM, that recent survey found 64% of executives, they're prepared to shift to more cloud-based business activities over the next 2 years. This shows the acceleration of technology adoption. It's got to continue even beyond the pandemic. For retailers specifically, you were saying, moving to the cloud will enable them to implement intelligent workflows in their business to accelerate digital transformation. I mean, the cloud. I mean, when I first heard about it, I got to tell you, I thought it was up there on a cloud or something. How safe is it overall, Aki?
It's funny you ask that. I think the cloud in many ways has become safer than, traditional data centers because, security was always the biggest inhibitor to cloud adoption. But over the last few years, many of the same controls and security and encryption that are manifest in a on-prem or traditional data center are now available and even stronger in the cloud, right? So effectively, you have public clouds now that are much more secure than a traditional data center would be, right? So really, I think it's game on, right, for consumers and retailers to take advantage of the cloud.
So I'm a bit dumb technically, but from a layman's perspective, what is the hybrid cloud? How does it impact consumers, and what other technologies are impacting retail now?
Yeah, hybrid cloud is effectively a combination of having information both in a public cloud. Think of that as being online in a cloud, as well as perhaps in a retail store, right? So from a consumer perspective, they're able to take advantage of inventory that sits anywhere, right? And, this allows them to get, more point of sale, information in terms of, a price being dropped, availability of an item, and they have quicker and more dynamic access to information at all times because all of this data is now interconnected, right? And all available through analytics so that they can have a better experience wherever they are.
Wow. And by the way, folks, if you'd like to read more and try and understand all this stuff, just go to www.ibm.com/cloud. Okay? www.ibm.com/cloud. Now, even before COVID, Aki, 84% of consumers indicated that they're looking for shopping experiences that allow them to easily find what they need. I mean, it's getting faster and faster, and, to get in and get out of the store quickly. So you would think that now is the time for retailers to leverage technologies. How are retailers adjusting to these trends and the shifting demands?
I think that's a great question, right? So if you think about, what we talked about before with hybrid cloud, but also think about artificial intelligence and video analytics. So as consumers enter a store, you can now, through video analytics, ensure that the individuals entering have a mask on. You can also ensure that there is the appropriate amount of space between each individual in a store so that the appropriate social distancing is also in place. And as a shopper, it's comforting to know that the store is taking a serious approach to social distancing and putting technology in place that indicates when a store is at capacity. So all of these capabilities, better analytics, better AI, better video analytics, all of this together, right, really allows for a much richer experience, whether it's online procurement or in-store. And that really benefits the consumer at the end of the day.
Well, across industries, companies need to remain agile and flexible in the wake of changes stemming from the pandemic. I guess that's why some of the world's largest and most well-known brands like, Coca-Cola, European partners, they're turning to IBM to accelerate their hybrid cloud strategies. For retailers especially, adopting a strong hybrid cloud strategy is going to allow them to adapt to greater market shifts. I guess just, keep up with the consumers. You probably got some other big ones out there too, huh?
Yeah, there are many, right? There are many, and across industry, to your point. And, really the disruption of the supply chain at large is creating a very significant, effort of, digitization, right? Forced digitization. Many of these retailers have already been in the path to, transform a lot of their existing capabilities into, more digital enabled cloud delivered services. But that rate and pace of adoption has significantly increased since COVID. And that really is due to the spike in demand from end consumers, whether it's, shopping online, whether it's having food delivered to your home. All of these different things that are now impacting your day-to-day life are now impacted in a very positive way with technology, helping to innovate and at least ease in some of the burden for a end consumer.
Yes, it's heading that way, and medicine too. Doctor visits, everything's online. The only thing I'm concerned about, mate, is every now and again out it comes in the news with somebody's hacked something or got into something private. And I think once consumers can have real faith in the fact that they are secure, I think it's going to explode.
I think you're absolutely right. And security is very critical. Pervasive encryption is very critical. And you have to ensure that, when you work with a cloud provider, that they have and they're thinking about your best interest at heart, and they're helping ensure that you have completely locked down your environment so that your experience online and your end consumers' experience online is the safest it can be.
Fantastic. Well, sounds like you enjoy your work, buddy. I mean, you've got a heck of a background, and prior to joining the IBM Cloud team, you were acquisition executive for IBM's Novus and Softtech acquisitions, and a business leader in Northeast Europe, based in Zurich. That must have been fun.
Oh, it was a terrific experience. I was actually out there for a couple of years with my wife and kids, and it was fantastic learning how business gets conducted in Europe, right?
Yeah.
I mean, having always been in the U.S., it really gave me an appreciation for how business gets done in the UK versus Germany versus the Alps. And it was a terrific experience. I enjoyed it.
That's great. Good on you. All right. Well, have a safe, Thanksgiving with your family. Thank you for taking the time with us, Aki, here on the Mark Bishop Show. And it'll be permanently up on the site. So hopefully we'll talk again in the future. Take care now.
Thank you, Mark.